Hello, welcome to Good Morning Rat, the only show for Rat by Rat. I'm your host, Rat, and joining me is my co-host, Rat. Hello, Rat.
I don't like this. Go back to the normal format. This feels like an itch that isn't being scratched. You're a monster.
I was going through like my old notes for just like episode ideas and stuff. I wrote that intro down in my notes, and I'm like, oh, I never used that.
Yeah, never use it again, please. It feels wrong.
Okay, today's episode is brought to you by Better Rats. Mental health is important, and with Better Rats, you can absolutely shatter that. They pair you up with officially licensed wall rats to slowly drive you into madness. Also, they sell your health data.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. That ad was recommended by one of my classmates.
Oh. I thought you meant like... Never mind.
I mentioned I do like fake ad reads all based around rats of like real companies all based around rats, and he was like, have you done a Better Health? And I'm like, fuck, no, I haven't. I should.
Pause to let me ratify.
Ratify?
You'll understand.
Okay. Also, I mixed up some stuff in the previous episode, which a commenter pointed out. The dwarves to the north are the Norse dwarves, different to the Chaos dwarves. Chaos dwarves are to the east. The Norse dwarves are having a bad time in Norway, but they have not succumbed to chaos. It was the dwarves to the east that got cut off and then succumbed to chaos worship. Seriously, it should be Sakame. But hey, we fumble things here from time to time at Good Morning Ratman. Like my entire fucking life. But just sometimes, I correct those fumbles. Usually, when the topic is in the next episode. If it isn't, we just spread misinformation, which is fine.
I love how you say it like you're the one who's unhinged. You are the most straight level one out of the two of us.
No?
What? You think I'm more hinged than you are?
Kinda, yeah.
How? I live in my room, do nothing.
That's because you live in nowhere.
Not to be confused with Nowhere from the famous film Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that we were supposed to start earlier, and then you went, let me just watch the entirety of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Which was fine, I did assignment work while we're doing that.
And jokes on you, don't include those art. Well, actually, no, yeah, go ahead and include those.
Sure.
I did art while I was drawing.
Yeah, like Piss Princess.
Don't include that, otherwise we're going to have to explain it.
No.
As you can see, yeah, it's not just my fucking art that's bad in good notes. It's my art in general. I swear, sometimes I'm better than this. Sometimes. Anyway, dwarves. Dwarves.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, so I mentioned recently the AI that recommends video titles that I don't use because they're shit, but it did have another good one. Last video that I actually almost used, which was The Grudge's book review.
The Grudge text. The Grudge text.
Yep. So, last we left off, into the episode now, last we left off, dwarves had just gone through a real shite time, and a bunch have just fucked off into the much worse Grey Mountains. Not like worse as in like life's worse, just that there's no gold. It's just kind of boring. They're just kind of hanging. And in doing so, started interacting and uplifting the human tribes they were interacting with, which Corgi said was going to go bad, which she was very, very wrong about.
Uh-huh, sure I was.
Yeah,
I'm never wrong.
The High King, that being the leader of all the dwarves, was a bloke by the name of Kurgan Ironbeard at this time, and was leading a trade convoy to the Grey Mountains, and they got attacked by a massive orc horde, and the dwarves did a pretty good job at defending it. But ultimately, the king was captured. But this all happened in human-controlled territory, controlled by a tribe by the name of the Unberogans. Unbergerans.
The Borgomirs.
Yeah, the Borgomirs. So, and they weren't too happy about having orcs in their lands. So, they wiped them the fuck out.
Yeah, human beings are surprisingly racist in pretty much every form of media.
We'll get to their not
And
racism.
in reality.
So the army that they wiped the orcs the fuck out with was led by the chieftain's son, and they freed the High King from his prison. So the dwarves, extremely grateful, now had a debt to their new best friends, and especially the chieftain's sons. A guy we know.
Oh,
Do you-
yes. Gandalf.
Do you remember who it was? I said it in the last episode.
Jay, I don't even remember what we were talking about like 2 minutes ago.
Okay. Sigmar.
Oh,
Yep. And
not Stinky Man.
and to show how much they were friends, forged a runic warhammer for Sigmar. The titular warhammer the game is named after. A warhammer by the name of Galmaraz, which Corgi does not like that name.
Galmaraz.
We had a whole conversation about it prior.
Yeah, well, Galmaraz is just a weird-ass name, dude.
Yeah, you said it sounded too close to Razmataz.
Oh, that's right!
Yeah.
Razzmatazz.
So it also just means skull splitter in Dwarven. And then the dwarves and humans teamed up and just killed all the orcs, just all of them, and pushed them right out of the human lands.
Genocide is fine if you do it with friends.
Yeah, genocide is fine if they're green, apparently.
That would explain a lot.
Or if they're a fungus, I guess. Fungus don't have feelings. They do. Fungus have a complex language. But anyway, I'm going to read the next part verbatim because I'm fucking exhausted. Fuck you. Here's a selfie I took of me writing the script. I don't have it to send it to you. It's the picture of the exhausted Kate Bishop. That's the joke. That's the joke. It's a panel from a comic book. I'm fucking hilarious. So, quote, "It was said that the orc invasion, which was held back by the armies of dwarves and men, was so vast that it would have swept over the old world, ravaging everything in its path. Yet, bottled up in that steep valley, the greenskins' superior numbers came to naught. What the fuck is that word? The bat-D.
The baddie?
I think that's supposed to be battle. Sometimes when I copy and paste this, it just adds letters into the sentence. The battle became a test of wills, a brutal struggle to determine which side would give ground. The valley floor filled with bodies and sundered shields, the cramped confines making it hard to swing an axe. And on battlefields of this sort, the dwarves rule supreme. For their kind have long been tested in cramped tunnels under the mountains. Against their matchless armor, tightly packed shield walls, the greenskins broke again and again. Not one step backwards did the dwarves take, and by the time Sigmar charged the foe, he broke the weary hordes asunder."
Sorry, I was doing an artistic rendition of the thing that you were telling me, and I realized I accidentally made you look like Doctor Strange.
Oh, cool. There's a good line in a Black Library book, which is the Warhammer books. It's a 40k book. I think it's Siege of Terror, and it's an Iron Fist. No, an
Iron
Imperial
Fist?
No, it's Imperial Fist. Sorry.
Chief of Town Hall.
Yeah, there's
Sorry.
Iron Hands and Imperial Fists. Yeah, so yeah, it's not.
So
Iron
not
Fist.
Chief of Town Hall.
No, they weren't out here fucking fighting Shal-Al the Undying.
Chief of Town Hall. Sorry.
But yeah, so the Imperial Fist, and they're leading the defense, and he draws a line in the ground, and he just goes not one step back, and it details his whole fight and eventually being overcome by enemies and being killed, and his body falling exactly on the line that he drew, and that he never took a step back. He said, "Well, we will fight here and never take a step back," and he never did. It's a
What
really
a fucking baller.
yeah, it's a really fucking baller moment. Again, probably a terrible person, probably killed many civilians and just alien children, but he didn't take a step back.
I've said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it. God forbid men have hobbies.
It's the unofficial motto of this podcast. They did atrocities. God forbid men have hobbies.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Anyway.
come on.
This battle is widely regarded as the birth of the Empire, but I don't have to regard that. So no, it's not. No matter how true it is, I refuse to regard it.
There is no birth in Empire.
Yeah. But the dwarves disagree that the Empire begun here. They believe it truly began when Sigmar saved their High King.
I believe it began when some weird freak was just like, yo, What if we just make a weird-ass, confusing series of events that would leave future historians completely baffled?
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel every time you try to explain Warhammer to me. It just gets more and more chaotic.
Yep. Except you have the negative that there are 3 universes and you have the inability to distinguish between the 3.
Oh, you mean like you did last episode?
Yeah, go fuck yourself. I was really hoping you didn't read that comment.
You sent it to me, stupid.
Did I? Oh, shit.
Probably.
Fuck. Who knows? Anyway.
Thank you for calling him out, by the way. Anytime he's called out, it makes me happy.
Look, mine was a flub. Yours is a genuine lack of understanding.
Mine is because behind my eyeballs, do you know what I have behind
Yours
my
is
eyeballs?
we get halfway through a video and you go, but when do the Space Marines come in? And I go, we're talking about fantasy. And you go, oh. Whereas mine was, I just accidentally said 40k.
Point is, Balfridge keeping us on top of our game. Thank you.
Anyway, so things started getting good, and a lot of dwarves migrated into the human lands to live in the Empire, and trade between the races flourished.
The racisms?
Trade between the races flourished. Because there was still a lot of enemies that needed killing, and it just so happens dwarves are really good at making stuff that does just that, and can charge a premium price for it. And with all this golden... And with all that... What the fuck did I write? With all this golden age, the dwarves... Yeah, sure,
And
let's
with
just
all
go with this.
And with all this, comma, the golden age.
I'm going to read this as I wrote it, and you can figure it out. And with all this golden age, the dwarves thought, hey, things are going good. Let's make it hard for ourselves and go take our lands back. So they did that, slowly, painfully, and at great cost. Took some of it back.
And with all those golden ages insane, and with all this amazing bounty, Jason, you have figured it out. I am a mathematician.
Mathematician, please.
Sorry.
So the dwarves, though, lost a lot of their technology and experience during the Time of Woes, which was when everything went wrong all at once.
I love that movie.
Yeah, you literally haven't seen it. We talked about this, but their weapons just weren't as good, their gear wasn't as good, and their rune crafting wasn't as good. Still, even though it wasn't all as good, still, their abilities fucking dwarfed all the other races. They were still, but fuck me, they were still the best by far, but they weren't at what they once were.
I'm sorry, did you use AI to think?
No, you can tell I've had one day off in the past 3 weeks. I'm so tired, man.
Yeah, you should have a nap after this. Well,
I don't
actually,
nap. I can't have naps. If I nap, I have nightmares. It's just how it works. I never get nightmares unless I have a nap, in which case I do have nightmares.
Nightmares.
Yep. However, their math magicians were really fucking good at engineering. Better than the old loser dwarves. Though, dwarves, being the high-key stubborn and low-key idiots,
Same.
that they are, they create these complex masterworks and then go, no. And then many, many generations later go, all right, let's try these things out. And then they incorporate it into their society. However, some dwarf clans just straight up refuse to use them at all. They invented guns and other assorted things, most importantly steam-powered drills to make mining easier because a lot of the dwarves died and it's harder to mine as good when there's less dwarves. So,
Makes sense.
they also low-key invented cars, but, that's a bit more complicated. Ha 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 ha, fuck yourself.
3.
I don't think I've said go fuck yourself 3 times at this point.
You have. 1 was before. 2 was, about 2 minutes ago. And 3 was just then.
But if you put it at the top and then never mind, that's fine. But anyway, dwarves, much bigger on humans than they were with the elves. Not to say...
What? Sorry. Dwarves, much bigger on humans.
Yeah, You know how you're like big on something? Like you're like, I like this a lot. I'm big
Oh,
on. I'm
I
big
thought you
on.
were fucking.
I'm big on trees. Trees are cool. I'm.
I thought you
Much
meant
big.
like fucking they're tiny, but the moment they step on a
No.
human, they're suddenly.
Yeah, they're just much bigger on humans than they were with elves. They don't like elves at all, but they do like humans. Oh, not to say they don't have their problems with them. They die much quicker than dwarves, who live for amount of years. I looked around and it seems like they live 200 to 500 years, but there is a guy called Crag kicking around who's about 1,600 to 1,800 years. So, there's also the White Dwarf who first fought. He's what the magazine is named after, by the way. He first fought during the War of the Beard and is still alive and is rumored to be the son of Grungni. So they live for amount of years.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. I'll die of old age when I say I'll die.
I'm old when I'm fucking old. When I say I'm old.
That's what I aspire to be. 180 years old, and people are like, you should have died like 70 years ago. And I go, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. I'm immortal.
Immortality through spite.
What's the quote? Anything less than immortality is a complete waste of time.
Unfamiliar with it.
It's Futurama line. It's Bender.
Oh my god, I need to rewatch.
Is when Bender finds out that he's not mortal. He also has the line, afterlife, if I knew I had to live a second life, I'd kill myself right now.
Yeah, me too. Just kidding, I believe in reincarnation. I can't wait to be reborn as a troglodyte compared to what I am now, which is a...
Troglodyte. Anyway, some of their problems with, dwarves, humans, other problems they have with humans, right, is they can't drink for shit. And
yeah, that's true, especially you.
Yeah, and many, many other minor problems. Says the list is hours long. They do have other actual problems with humans, though, such as having an unquenchable thirst for glory and power, which I know we love dwarves here, but man, they can fucking talk.
Yeah, aren't they the ones who literally hoard gold just because they want to?
And their whole Reconquista was, hey, what if we overextend ourselves for glory and to return our power? Shut the fuck up. But also, it's kind of valid. Because
Isn't that Australia?
That's how you get people worshipping chaos. And they would warn humans about this, and sometimes they would listen because the dwarves remember a time chaos almost ruled the world. And they've seen chaos worshippers in the Norskins and the Hung to the east. And you never want to hang out with the Hung, especially when you're small.
I hate you.
Anyway, low-hanging fruit aside, the Hung...
I hate you even more.
The Hung are just the Huns. Like historically, they're the Huns. They're just, fucking Attila the Hun shit. Except, it's Attila the Hung. Big dick on that guy.
I mean, that's why he rode a horse, right? So he could disguise his own.
Yeah. Anyway, fucking both the Hung and the Norse kids are all about power and glory and hella into chaos worship.
Sorry.
And the Hung are especially into power and glory, but they say size doesn't matter, so, they shouldn't be all that big into power, but,
You want what you have.
Yeah. So, anyway, they get it. The dwarves, they get it. And they see this tendency towards chaos starting to grow in the Empire too. But they still love their human pets and constantly come to help them out, not just militarily. They also give them technology they think is safe to give them, like steel, very safe, and manufacturing gunpowder, very unsafe. Don't give the monkeys guns. Don't. It's a bad idea. Don't do it.
Oh, now I'm thinking of that fucking video. God, that was great.
Video?
Yeah, the monkey with the gun. It was firing around an AK.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
It
alongside...
wasn't an orangutan.
Right, they also taught them how to make better buildings and better beer.
They got their priorities straight.
Yeah. So, the Empire and Kislev, which is fantasy Russia, right? They ride bears, Kislev.
Just like real Russia.
Yeah. That's, again, sending a fucking picture from this podcast to my wife accidentally instead of Corgi. Oh no, now it's all crashed. There we go. Fucking bears.
Bears?
Yeah.
Bears!
Anyway, they were constantly being attacked by the Beastmen and Norskins. This eventually became an actual war, and the city of Prague.
Prague.
So, it's Prague.
It's Prague. I think I would know. Because I think I know everything.
Yeah. Anyway, Czechia fell to chaos.
So realistic. So realistic.
Yeah. His proper chaos. Like, not just like it's the fucking...
The chaos with the K.
Chaos worshippers. It's fell amidst horrors undreamt of by men. Like, actual proper chaos demons and shit came out from Norway. Where they...
On motorbikes.
Live. Yeah. What's that coming from, Norway? Oh, horrors beyond mortal comprehension. Man, I really go hard on Norway.
Okay, but to be fair, they do have actual horrors beyond comprehension, like the Hulda, the Nokken, fucking hell.
Yeah, and the Surströmming, Rot Shark. Yeah. Anyway, so the dwarves went, hey, this looks suspiciously like the thing in the Book of Grudges. So Chaos was back. Woo! And
Chaos!
And the Empire was Hundo P going to lose this war. So the dwarves marched out alongside the Empire to break the siege of Kislev and destroyed the forces of Chaos, therefore freeing Czechia from Chaos. But they freed Prague, right? And it was not great. A haunted ruin of chaos. Fun. They rebuilt it, but it is considered cursed. And magic doesn't work as good in there. Like, it does work the same, but it's just much harder to control, and any magic users feel the constant presence of chaos in the city. But the message was clear. Chaos was still around and ready to mount an invasion.
I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Could have been Cowdoy in the city.
Could have been Cowdoy in the city, I guess. What? What a bizarre thing to reference.
The only reason I reference it is because when I heard chaos in the city, that's... Yeah. I was like, chaos in the city! Cowdoy in the city!
We gotta free the citizens of Prague! Cowdoy in the city! No, the citizens... Cowdoy in the city!
Anyway. Add that to the Cowdoy saga.
Damn, add that to the Cowdoy saga.
Anyway. Corgi has a lot of work to do that she's very, very, very behind on.
Yeah, she should be doing. Anyway.
Yes, but counterpoint.
Counterpoint. I like how you said, I realize this, I messaged you, you never have responded to it, but you were like, I gave you a list of things to do while I was away, and then you were like, well, I did some of them, and then you were like, it was the reading comics that you told me to read.
Because
you didn't do that. You did that after I got back. I was on call with you while you read those comics. You didn't do them while I was away. You did nothing while I was away. I gave you a list of things to do. You did none of them. And then you read the comics when I got back.
Excuse you, I did do one thing while you were away. I waited for you to get back.
Yeah, fucking Fry's dog over here.
No, I was going for Patrick, stop! What do you do when I'm gone? Wait for you to get back. Not fucking... Oh, now I'm sad.
Good.
You're the worst.
You wouldn't have to have felt sad if you did your fucking work.
You didn't have to bring up...
Anyway, this war, bad beat though. For the dwarves specifically, a lot of dwarves died. It wasn't great. The High King Alric's sons were all killed, and he himself was gravely wounded and / mortally wounded, and they did not look like they would heal. He was gonna die. Now, that being said, he did not regret his choice at all, because the dwarves had an oath to Sigmar, and the dwarves would always uphold that oath. But the war didn't go how he wanted. Other clans didn't send as many dwarves as he wanted, and the Everlasting Realm wasn't doing well.
It wasn't everlasting as we thought.
Each Carrick was struggling in its own way, and he was pretty sure some of the other dwarf nobles were getting a bit too into gold and suffering gold sickness, which is basically where you go mad, isolate yourself, and starve yourself to death on a pile of gold.
Also known as dragon.
Yeah. On top
dragon
of... Right, yeah. Okay, yeah, go fuck yourself. Anyway, on top of all that,
4.
He was dying. Yeah, he got stabbed a bunch. He was fucking dying. Anyway, but he's a dwarf, so he's a stubborn prick and called for a council of kings. Quote, something not done in over 3 centuries. The dwarf king of every stronghold, along with the most powerful thanes and the royalty of every clan, made the dangerous trek to the halls of the High King.
Oh, yeah, so someone fucking stabbed me? Which one of you bitches was it?
So now,
Must have been an excellent meeting.
Now, each of these guys, who are descended from the gods, were given a year to do some cool shit. And whoever does the coolest stuff will become the heir to Kara's Angkor, that being the Everlasting Realm. And everyone agreed, because the chance to become king of all dwarves is too good to pass up. I'm back in a second.
And then he never returned. It's just you and me now, chat. It's not going to go well for either of us.
The Dwarf King really hit him with the, you want to be my heir? Well, your love is not enough. I want some cool shit too.
Honestly, if I was a king, I would do the same thing. But I would never be king because I'm much too irresponsible for that.
I would be a great king.
No,
Anyway.
you wouldn't.
Yes, I would
Sex
be.
cult.
Sex cult is different, okay? Sex cult is, when you play Crusader Kings, you inevitably found a sex cult. That's just how that game works. It's just the name of the game. Maybe you don't call it sex cult like I did, but you do end up founding a sex cult. Anyway, so he gave them a year to do the cool shit, right? And then fast forward 2 years and then rewind it back 1 year, right?
I'm already lost.
So they were having a big get together to announce the achievements, minus 3 people, 2 who were very dead, and 1 they didn't know where he was, but he was probably dead.
Same.
Yeah. Then they got to announcing what they did. We got Ungrim Ironfist, a playable character in Total War Warhammer.
Oh.
He slew a giant and proved it by lugging in the giant's head. He got the loudest cheers. Second was a guy called Beauregard. It doesn't say what he did, just that it's basically nepotism. He was a descendant of the guy that used to rule Carrick 8 Peaks, and the High King would occasionally be the king of Carrick 8 Peaks, so they wanted to give it to him. That was
Nepo
it.
baby.
Yeah. So, who do you think got...
Ulgrim.
No, Corgi. It was Thorgrim, the king's nephew, the guy that went missing. He showed up.
But how come he gets it? He wasn't even fucking there.
He showed up with a group of Norse dwarves, like, as they were getting to the, alright, it's probably time to vote, right? He shows up with a group of Norse dwarves, which, good thing I corrected that mistake. Otherwise, this would be weird. As I said in the previous episode, the dwarves have no idea what the Norse dwarves are doing or if they're even still alive. They made an attempt to contact them, but didn't find anything. So here's Thorgrim, who, during the war in Kislev, after the king was injured, fucked off to Norway to get back into contact with them. And then he had the year to do stuff, fucked off back to Norway to go do a lot of shit. And now has just shown up with the kings of these Norse dwarves who are all singing his praises of just how great he is. But that's not all he did. He also raided a whole heap of lost holds, getting hidden treasures or killing the people that had them and taking them back. He got relics that were so old that Crag, the guy pushing 2,000 years, was vaguely aware of through their legends.
Oh shit.
Dwarves were crying as he brought these relics in. So Thorgrim took the stage to plead his case for why he should rule. There wasn't enough.
Yeah, I found this lost race and a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah, this wasn't enough, what he just did. They also needed vengeance, which is pretty much exactly what everyone else had said. But Thorgrim went a step further. Not only do they need vengeance, but his plan is to wipe the Great Book of Grudges clean. Every grudge will be paid.
Ooh, that's big talk.
So they voted, and Thorgrim Grudgebearer was named the successor.
Hell yeah. So this won't go bad at all, right?
Yep. So 2 things. 1, they really went, elect me, I killed a giant. What have you done? Only to be hit with, I found a lost civilization and undid a cultural genocide. Yeah, okay, fine, you win. Yeah. Fuck you, I guess. Fuck me, I guess. Fuck.
Oh, look, fancy pants Rich McGee over here.
And secondly, now's the time we actually talk about what the Great Book of Grudges is. It's a book of all the grudges. That's it.
Wait, but what do they do with it?
Okay, so good thing because I wrote that down. It's handed down from High King to High King, and each entry is written in their blood.
Wow, that is extra petty.
Yeah, and only the High Kings are able to strike a grudge or add one. It's also a pretty good overview of Dwarven history. Just, like, has detailed breakdowns of the entire Dwarven history, because it's like, this guy fucked over this guy at this point in time in this battle because they did this thing, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, they also occasionally use it just for a history textbook. And the only other race who has ever gotten to see it is a handful of humans from the Empire due to their alliance. It also says they are scribes, so it was probably more the using it as a history book sort of thing of, hey, so what's your history? Oh, fine, we'll just show you the book.
Why do you hate these guys so much? Well, boy, have I got the right fucking book for you. Why does it smell like copper? Did you use copper on it? That's the neat part. No.
Anyway, also, third thing, Corgi, it's a little thing we like to do called Whose Boat Is That Boat?
I quit. I want out.
No. Corgi, whose boat is that boat? It's actually kind of an easy one. I'm not really fucking with you this episode.
It's Hawkeye's from his debut comic, Hawkeye.
No.
A hoverbike, which he got from this lady who ended up betraying him because... Lol.
Look at the fucking picture, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I was colouring, stupid! Oh, right! He's the guy that fucking has everyone carry him around.
Yeah, that's Thorgrim Grudgebearer.
What a dick.
Yeah, you want to guess whose boat that is?
Thorgrim's?
Yeah, you got it! Woo! A round of applause for Corgi! Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, I almost forgot to put a whose boat in that boat into this episode. I got like really close to finishing and went, fuck, I forgot! And then I came back and chucked it in here. So, the Dwarf King, right, he gets a thing called the Throne of Power. You'd have seen it if you played Total War Warhammer.
I did see it briefly when you were choosing characters.
Here's a quote. It is said that the Throne of Power was made by Grungni himself, and that as long as it endures, the dwarf race will also. Since Snorri Whitebeard, the first High King after the ancestor gods departed, every High King in turn has sat upon this ancient wonder. In fact, tradition dictates that whenever the High King sits down, he must do so on the Throne of Power. At Karaz-e-Karak, the throne normally resides in the cavernous Great Hall, raised upon a massive pedestal of polished stone. Those who would seek an audience with the High King must climb a flight of steep steps as the Dwarf Lord stares down imperiously.
Okay, guess he's just literally lording it over everyone. Yeah. Look at me, I'm the king, fuck you.
Yeah. It is also portable. You can lift it up, and when the dwarves go to war, 4 guys will carry it around and go into war, and they have to carry it and fight at the same time. It is considered a great honor to be one of the throne carriers, but the High King,
pallbearer.
Yeah, the High King gets to hang out on top, attacking everything that gets too close. And it's been through a lot. Like, a lot. And it is almost completely indestructible. But it does have some scratches from dragons and greater demons. Those are the only things that have managed to damage it.
As you do.
Yep. So, Thorgrim, right? Named successor to High King. So, Alricsson went and fucking died. Not like killed himself, died, but it is finished, died. He literally went, nah, can't die yet, need to know who will succeed me, and then he found out and went, dope, good luck, I'm a bounce, and then died.
He's like, I can't clock out just yet until my replacement gets here.
So, enter the Great Reckoning. Thorgrim, right, made pretty big promise, and he had to deliver on it. So, out the gate, he led an attack to clean out the Greenskins from the Blackfire Pass, a pathway between 2 mountain ranges that was vital for constant easy trade with the Empire. So, Thorgrim entered from the south, and King Alric of Carrick-Herne entered from the north, and they slaughtered their way to the middle. Clearing a path, several grudges were struck out in this attack, and they were just getting started. They then started a slow reconquista, gaining a lot of lost strongholds, and he had a plan. Remember Beauregard from earlier?
Yes, because I remember thinking of the Boo Brothers, an old Scooby-Doo movie.
Sure. Anyway, so for those that don't remember, he was the guy who almost got elected on the basis of nepotism. Well, he died.
Rip.
But his son, Belagar, very alive and very a character in Total War Warhammer. Well, he had a plan to take back Carrick 8 Peaks, and Thorgrim decided to call on dwarf clans to help him out. And boy, had the dwarves been trying before this. They had tried to take Carrick 8 Peaks more times than any other Carrick. Quote, great effort went into ensuring King Belagar's forces could break into the Fortress of Old, as even in its ruined state, Carrick 8 Peaks presented a formidable series of natural defences and deadly choke points. Dwarves attempting re-entry in the past had been ambushed, poisoned, and picked apart before they could penetrate the hold's depths. So, Thoric Ironbrow, runesmith, and Total War Warhammer character, made a bunch of rune axes. Thorgrim got a bunch of ancient weapons, and they gave them to Belagar's soldiers. Quote, it was an army like the elder days, when entire battalions went into war wielding runic weapons and protected by rune-struck armor.
I mean, hey, when you're king, you can just do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah. So, alongside a group of dwarves led by Thoric Ironbrow, they managed to successfully take a part of it, and then fortify it, and then immediately got attacked by night goblins. But they held, mostly thanks to war machines.
Oh, I love that character.
So then Skarsnik, the leader of the night goblins, the warlord of the Eight Peaks, and the guy that has the most grudges against him in the Book of Grudges, and is also in Total War Warhammer, he called off the attack. Like, the goblins were losing tens of thousands of guys a day, and they could hold that. They had the numbers to just continue to sacrifice it. But they had a better plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the Skaven.
Our babies.
Yeah, the spies of Queek Headtaker, a warlord of Clan Moors, a clan not an Age of Sigmar, and say it, Corgi.
Never.
Say it, Corgi.
Say what?
What have I been saying after every character so far? Say it with me. Don't say it with me. Say it, and then I will verify if you got it correct.
They fucking died.
No, a character in Total War Warhammer. So, Queek owned most of the lower part of Carrick 8 Peaks. So then Queek has maneuvered to take out all of the night goblins and all of the dwarves in one attack. Jeez, my voice died there.
Thank God they didn't come across any mind goblins. Your silence only fuels my desire to continue with my bad jokes.
Anyway, so flash forward to an indeterminate amount of decades. No one has won. They're still doing the exact same thing every day. Quote, Belagar and his dwarves withstanding plots, alliances, ambushes, super weapons, and untold death traps. 3 times they have been rescued by relief forces that broke through the cordon of foes to bring much-needed reinforcements. The last army led by Thorgrim himself. Belagar has sworn a mighty oath to retake Carrick 8 Peaks, and inch by bloody inch, the dwarves have expanded their foothold. With each small gain, the engineers refortify before the inevitable counterattack arrives. So the battle grinds on in a permanent state of siege.
And that is Warhammer in a nutshell.
Yep.
They just never stop. They just keep fucking going.
Yep.
Energizer bunnies.
So Ungrim Ironfist, right, the guy who brought the head to show and tell.
Yes.
Yep. He decided he wanted to fight an orc by the name of Nashrak Badtooth, right?
And that sounds like a pretty impressive orc. I mean, Nashrak? Oof.
Yep. They fought 3 times, and the dwarves won. But they kept escaping, because they hired a bunch of ogres. Like ogre mercenaries, right? The ogre mercenaries were led by an unfortunately named ogre called Golgfag. Recently added to Total War Warhammer.
God, I still can't believe they got away with that.
Look, he was probably created in the 80s, I'm not going to lie, so it was probably less getting away with it and more like... Isn't it so funny, guys? Isn't it fucking hilarious? Yeah. Anyway, so fucking Golgfag had a falling out with Nashrak and went, you know what? Fuck this. And took his ogres with him, alongside Nashrak's arms, which he then presented to Ungrim, and they hired him to help kill the rest of the orcs. Which they did. Very well. Then, they parted ways. However, the ogres betrayed the dwarves in the worst way.
Shaving their beards.
No. They stole their ale.
Okay, yeah, that is pretty fucked up.
They
Side
were...
note, that's a game we should try playing.
What?
Ale and Pints tavern game.
Okay, never heard of it. Anyway, so 5 years later, the ogres passed through the mountains right by Cadrin, which, wouldn't you know, happened to be ruled by Ungrim. And then found their path was blocked by Ungrim and 100 slayers. Ungrim himself is also a slayer, the Slayer King. Every king of Cadrin is a slayer. We'll get on to what slayers are later. But, yep, there were many more ogres than there were slayers. So, the slayers slaughtered all of the ogres, because you don't fuck with slayers.
That sounds about right.
Yep. Golgfag, however, was spared and chucked in a dungeon. So, a bunch of goblins attacked Zufbar. That's the place with the water wheels. But... Yeah. But they were really scattered, and all from the east, which was a weird place for them to be. Because Zufbar's like the far west of the mountain range, so it meant that they were from the west of the east, and then they just moved all through the mountain range and then attacked Zufbar. It was a really weird attack. Mm-hmm. So they had it just like super easily under control. They couldn't get through the walls, and their war machines on the walls will just deal with it easily. Unfortunately, Thorgrim and Ungrim didn't know that, so they showed up to help, just with entire armies, and they just slaughtered all the goblins. And during a party, a dwarf showed up. A dwarf known by the terrible name of Joseph Bugman.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, renowned brewer who lives a nomadic life. He let them know that the goblins were actually fleeing an ogre horde led by Tyrant Brawl Lumphammer.
That's what they called me in high school.
So, like a proper horde. Like he had like a proper horde. It was a genuine proper threat. And they figured out it was heading to the Moot, which is a city in the Empire. So these 3 dwarf armies headed down to the Moot and found them trying to ford a river. And then a human army showed up and, quote, the largest concentration of artillery seen in the old world opened fire. So they all died.
Yeah, that tracks.
They were really like, because they were trying to ford a river, so they're like making little boats and like trying to make little paths, and then just an entire tank division showed up and went, well, it's a real shame that you are just stuck in a river. Then they all died.
That's why you don't trust rivers, man.
Yeah.
Beavers have a fucking point.
Yeah, so the elven ambassador, right, for the dwarves was kidnapped by Manfred from Karstein. I said from again. Fuck. Manfred von Karstein. We talked about him the other week in his Age of Sigmar form.
I just hear Manfred and I think of Skellably.
Right, yes. Anyway, so she was abducted in front of Kazay Karak. Not a great look. Like at the doors, fucking all of a sudden Manfred appears, bag over her head, fucking runs away, and the door's like, well, that's a problem. Shit. Because like they didn't fucking care at all. Like Thorgrim doesn't matter, fucking elf, who gives a shit. But she was the elven ambassador to the dwarves, and she was abducted literally on his doorstep. So honor dictated he had to go save her. So
obligation.
Yeah. So they went out to Nagashazar to go get her back and ran into an elf army led by Tyrion. He is the brother...
Lannister?
No, he is the brother of Teclis.
Oh, Teclis. Fucking nerd wizard.
Yeah. Tyrion also eventually becomes a god. But they got there, and the elves had actually already gotten the elves had already gotten the ambassador, Aliathra. but
Plethora.
were currently getting fucking bodied by the hordes of the undead sent to get her back, because they're fucking elves. They're fucking useless. Of course they are. So Thorgrim, against better judgment, went in and helped, and turned the tide to victory. However, Manfred managed to break through the lines and capture Elethra back. And Tyrion,
God damn it.
being a fucking useless elf, blamed the dwarves for losing her.
They fucking help out, and then all of a sudden it's
Yeah.
their fucking fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So the dwarves wanted to fight, because how dare they, blame Thorgrim for saving them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everything already sucked. Why make it worse? So
And so they made it worse.
yeah, so Thorgrim just fucking left. But the debt of honor was was repaid, and as far as Thorgrim was concerned, if the elves needed more help, they are free to do it on their own. They can go fuck themselves.
That's what they get.
Yeah, his advisors suggested adding a grudge, but it really wasn't worth it. So they didn't. And that
We didn't do it a grudge.
about does it for the history up until end times. These weren't meant to be a detailed breakdown of the entire history, but that's what it ended up being. One last thing, I said I'll bring it up. The Slayers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Demon Slayers.
Not demon slayers, they're just slayers. But these are basically suicidal dwarves.
Oh my god, I found my people.
If a dwarf loses their family or horde, or in some way fucks up their personal honor, like not honoring an oath, they might take up the Slayer Oath, abandoning their life, taking only their axes, and shaving their heads into a mohawk to mimic Grimnir when he fucked off to become a fire god.
And he was still fucking cool. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. Fire Mohawk?
Yeah.
I don't think of anything else that's cooler than
Yeah,
that.
they also dye their hair orange to look like him. But they take an oath to seek death at the hands of the biggest, baddest enemy they can find. A lot go out and die, but in a humorous twist, the best slayers, like Gotrek, our good friend Gotrek Gurneyson, are actually the worst fucking slayers. The goal is to die, and they're just too good, so they can't fucking die.
Task failed successfully.
Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. I know I said, we came up against that dragon. I said, let me solo her. And, I just charged in and it ate me. But I'm sorry, I failed. I cut my way out of its stomach and I killed it. I'm really sorry. I fucked that up for us. I'm so sorry. I didn't die there, guys. I cannot forgive myself. I'll fucking take another Slayer Oath right now. I'm so sorry.
It's my fault, guys. I swear, I'm gonna do better. And I just killed their entire enemy team.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, because they can't just be like, oh guys, I gotta repay my honor by fucking dying. Oh whoops, I dropped my monster axe that I use to kill monster dongs. The fucking that joke went fucking
I would have gone
that
with
reference.
Magnum Monsters.
Yeah, that reference went bad. But yeah, anyway, fucking like they get fucking killed by a giant penis fucking demon. Obviously working for Slanesh. Obviously.
Because of the implication.
Yeah. So they can't do that. They have to be like, all right, guys, fucking time to lock in, and then they just fucking kill everything.
Yeah, that sounds like me and Marvel Rivals, except I'm the opposite. I just die every time.
It's me whenever I pick Hawkeye, and Corgi tries to we play the game and have a casual conversation at the same time, and then Corgi will talk to me, and I'm playing Hawkeye, and I'm like, sorry, Corgi, I'm playing Hawkeye. I have to lock in.
And it's infuriating because he never lets me play Hawkeye because I'm bad at
Because you're
aiming.
bad. And then I am also bad at aiming, and I was like, I'll play Hawkeye once, and then I got 20 kills, and I had an 80% accuracy, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just kind of low-key goated at Hawkeye. And that's how I play Hawkeye, is 80% accuracy, 70 to 80% accuracy, and I lock the fuck in. Anyway.
Moral of the story.
Moral of the story, right? Slayers.
Fucking, just like Hawkeye mains.
Yeah. They don't wear armor, because that defeats the purpose of dying in battle. So you just have a bunch of unarmored guys.
Naked dwarves.
Yeah, no, they are literally fucking let me solo her. They're running in, arms in hand, underwear, bowl on head, being impossible to hit.
Oh my god, he's back.
Someone should make Let Me Solo Her Slayer. Someone might have already done it, but someone. Corgi, you have a job. Fucking draw Let Me Solo Her, but as a dwarf. Slayer.
I love Let Me Solo Her.
Yeah, do your fucking job. The fucking the Star Wars show that everyone hated that was actually like pretty fun if you watched it.
The Acolyte?
Yeah, The Acolyte. The main villain in that show is based on Let Me Solo Her.
You mean the one that's played by Jason Mendoza?
Yeah. He wears
Mortals!
he wears a helmet that he cannot see and has to sense where the enemies are in the Force and wears no other armor except for 2 braces. And I don't remember I don't remember the woman who created the show and runs it, but she said she based it specifically on Let Me Solo Her because her boyfriend was playing Elden Ring at the time and was just like, look at this guy. And then a Star Wars character got created out of it.
Which, not the weirdest character that's been created because of media.
He headbutts a lightsaber in that show, and it's just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was gnarly. Yeah. And it, like, turned it off, too, didn't it?
Because the helmet is made out of a metal that turns off lightsabers.
So he's literally just an EMP helmet, but for
that's
lightsabers.
Why he uses, like, the braces, is he, like, blocks it with the bracer, and then it just shuts down the lightsaber. And then at one point in time, he just straight up fucking headbutts a lightsaber. Someone tries to swing at his body.
Imagine finding the perfect kyber crystal, but some whack job with a helmet on.
Yeah.
Literally just be like, okay, yeah, but I have the off switch, so...
Anyway, the dwarves, the slayers, right? Because they're semi-nomadic. They just... You can't really organize slayers into an army. You're not like, come slayers, unless it's like the Slayer Keep. You will just start a battle.
Don't say that.
Yeah. They'll form little bands that they travel around in, and then you'll start a battle, and then the Slayers will hear a battle, and then run out of the woods in their fucking loincloth, 2 axes, be like, there's a fucking battle, guys! Let's go! And then they'll just fucking solo the largest enemy in the battle, and then leave, and you go, neat. Thanks.
Back to their rat hole.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the dwarves for Old currently. We'll probably talk about some characters, and there's probably more stuff to talk about here and there, but next week we're going to be moving on to Age of Sigmar dwarves, because it's Dwarf Month. I forgot to mention it last week. Dwarf Month. We're doing Dwarf Month. It's February, it's Dwarf Month, it's the shortest month of the year, fucking dwarves. And Dwarf Month, as we know, the shortest month of the year, it's 30-something days, because I've poorly planned this, so we're going to be doing fucking 3 other dwarf videos, which obviously that goes past February, so Dwarf Month. It's the longest month of the year.
Are you okay?
No, I fucking don't sleep, and I'm working so much. I have to finish this. I need to go fucking edit, and then I need to go finish my fucking assignment. I'm so tired.
Every upvote, helps bring him back from the brink of sanity, but not by a lot. Just please.
Someone,
please validate.
Someone was a fucking idiot and went, you know what I can do? Release a weekly fucking podcast, and also, at the same time, do a full-time fucking TAFE course. Apparently not. It's really hard. I'm so tired. I get like Thursdays off, and that's it. Like the course is like Monday to Wednesday, and then it's like Thursday, and then it's Friday. It's like, okay, I got to do research, and then also like write, and then also we're supposed to record on Saturday, but I don't finish my research in time because I'm fucking there. So then we record on Sundays, and I'm also spending Saturday researching the whole time, and then I have to edit. So we might end up releasing, for the time being, episodes on Wednesday, because I'll have the days to research, and then I will be writing them. And then we'll be recording on Sunday, and then I'll be editing them Monday afternoon and Tuesday afternoon, and then they'll be going up Wednesday. This episode might be late. This episode is probably late. You probably will be on Wednesday, and this is just say, for the time being, we're probably going to be moving to a Wednesday schedule just because it aligns better with my schedule. Anyway, that does it. Fucking share this video if you liked it. Like the video. Add important comment to do comments. I like comments. YouTube loves comments, allegedly. So I've heard. I don't fucking know, but I like them. I like reading the comments. Fucking comment. I'm tired.
And also, please send him some coffee. He needs it.
I don't need coffee. That will make everything worse. I don't sleep.
No, but
I get like 8 hours of sleep a night, but then because I can't fucking sleep, it's actually like 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Does anyone else, when they go to sleep, dream, but they're still awake? So they're physically aware of themselves being in the bed and they're moving around, but they are still dreaming? Because that happens to me every night for most of my
sleep
dreams.
paralysis?
No, it's not sleep paralysis. That's what I get nightmares of, because I used to get sleep paralysis almost every day. And now I just get nightmares about having sleep paralysis. And the cool thing about sleep paralysis is it goes away. You know what doesn't go away? A fucking nightmare about sleep paralysis. I don't like sleep.
Comment.
Sleep is mean.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
I've started taking melatonin because people are like, hey, you know what it does? Helps you sleep. You know what? It doesn't fucking help me sleep.
I think you're a bit stressed out, buddy.
I'm not stressed.
That's exactly what
I'm actually doing very well on managing my stress. I know when I'm too stressed. I'm actually managing my stress very well. I'm having... It helps that I have a lot of fun at TAFE. TAFE is very fun. So even though I am going to school, it's not actually a stressful occasion for me. It's just really fun. And then I do this, which is really fun. Everything I'm doing is really fun. It's just too much. I'm doing too many things. So it's like, but I'm having fun doing the things. I'm very time poor and don't sleep. Anyway, fucking goodbye. Corgi, say goodbye. Goodbye.
And goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay, that's it. I'm fucking sweaty because I was yelling.